It was a Friday night in December, almost 5 years ago. I sat at home and counted the words I had said the last 9 months. It had been 5. 5 words in the last 9 months, which are 39 weeks, 273 days. 5 seconds filled with voice, 5,000 hours filled with silence. At that time, I never imagined that this would last years. Now, 6 years later, I'm here, using my voice. It wasn't sure if I would be able to speak to you personally or if I need a backup speaker. I'm not used to standing on a stage and giving a talk. In fact, I'm not used to talking to people in general. I'm not only a shy introvert, but also a human being with a limited speech function, due to an ultra-rare disease called Eagle syndrome. So you don't have to worry that I will talk too long. It's one of my biggest flaws, but also my greatest power to attract men. Hey, she only talks 20 minutes a day. That's awesome. I don't want to make fun about illnesses or sexist jokes. I'm just citing comments I already heard. And I know most people feel uncomfortable when talking about diseases, but jokes can open an entrance to the most serious topics. That's why I'm here today. I'm here to tell you my untold story. I want to use my regained voice to tell you what special gift you have. Because your voice can change the world. Some years ago, I studied French and psychology/philosophy at university in Vienna because I wanted to become a teacher. I sang in a choir, I loved deep talk with my friends, until one morning I woke up with an extreme pain in my throat and suddenly couldn't speak anymore. I had lost my voice. It was gone, literally gone. I experienced other strange symptoms. I had difficulties at swallowing. I could not move my tongue properly. I could not open my jaw or turn my head normally. And every food I tasted tasted like paper, which is a fact that still bothers me sometimes today and is really annoying because I love chocolate cake and apple strudel. But honestly, it felt like 20 knives were stabbing into my throat and my voice box was permanently inflamed. I thought it would be over soon. But that wasn't the case, it held on. And the worst thing was, not a single doctor could explain the reason for my symptoms. So, after dozens of examinations without results, I was told I was suffering from psychological issues. You know, when you suffer from pain 24/7 and get told from experts that it's imaginary, you feel powerless. Some offending words by certain doctors caused me severe anxiety. I lost my trust in people. I feared that nobody would believe me anymore, that they would all think that I'd gone crazy. So I started hiding. I escaped from friends at university, I stopped going out, I isolated myself. No medication worked on me, all my dreams were shattered. I was 21 years old and fought every minute to survive that illness that was invisible for others, but real for me. So why am I telling you that? All the time when I had no voice, I was ashamed of myself. I felt small, worthless, and estranged. Losing my voice was like losing a part of myself, like my personality crumbled away. All my identity was based on my voice, and suddenly I was forced to be silent when everyone else continued to be loud. I'm sure that many of you know that feeling. How often have you remained quiet, even if you had important things to say? People sometimes ask me, what is it like to live a life without a voice? And of course, there is the option to learn sign language, but I never looked into it because my chronic pain pushed me strongly to search for the right diagnosis and later for the right therapy. So even though sign language is so helpful for so many people, for me it would have felt like abandoning my voice. I didn't want to accept my voice loss as permanent. So I communicated with pen and paper and text messages on my phone with my parents. So how can I describe it to you, what it is like to live without voice? You cannot say good morning to the person you wake up next to. You cannot say, Mom, I need your help. You cannot say thank you for being there. You cannot order a simple cup of coffee. You cannot take part in conversations. You feel excluded. You cannot say no because everyone thinks silence is a form of agreement. You cannot say sorry for a mistake. You cannot sing under the shower. You cannot laugh, you cannot scream, you cannot cry. Does this sound familiar to you? One of the happiest days in the last year was the day I finally got my diagnosis. A little black ink on white paper was my proof of being sane. It was my proof that the excruciating pain that had been disbelieved by so many doctors was not just in my head. It turned out that I had that uncommon illness called Eagle syndrome, first described by an American ENT in 1937. There are two main types of the syndrome, the vascular and the classic one. The classic one explained all my symptoms and is really, really rare. For such a long time, I had been told that my scans were normal, but suddenly overnight, I belonged to one of 0.16% people worldwide who have sharp, elongated bones or calcified ligament in their throat that goes from the skull vein to the hyoid bone and damages certain brain nerves, muscles, and blood vessels, causing severe problems like swallowing difficulties, reduced tongue mobility, throat pain, ear pain, face, head, neck pain, sore throat, the feeling like someone is strangling you, brain fog, dizziness, and voice problems. The glossopharyngeal and the vagal neuralgia are also called suicide disease because they're so painful. It's been a long medical journey until today, and it's still not over. I had 2 complicated head throat surgeries, visited 50 doctors, did 2,000 pain therapies, traveled 45 times to 6 countries and 14 cities around the world to receive special treatments for my condition, which was so exhausting. I missed my family. I cried at too many airports. Even asking for a glass of water was impossible for me. And when I returned home, my immune system was so weak that I got infections every week. Epstein-Barr virus, long-lasting fever, and blood poisoning made my nervous system collapse so that I couldn't even go for a walk. I spent summers bedridden in dark rooms hiding from the sun, feeling guilty because my parents had spent so much money on my body that didn't function at all. But I knew that I wasn't the only one. So I went back to university and started doing research on social impacts of this untold disease. Patients from 4 continents took part in it. I found out that aspects, apart from the pain, aspects like delayed diagnosis and clinical labeling can lead to stigmatization, dissatisfaction in relationships, and emotional loneliness. Many people, imprisoned in their bodies, experienced medical gaslighting, waited for 15 years for their diagnosis, and were considered hypochondriacs, although they couldn't handle their pain anymore. They couldn't work or take care of their children. I read alarming postings in the internet of people who would rather be dead than to live with that illness. I recognized the value of having a voice and the importance of speaking up. So one day in a small town in the Netherlands, I changed. It was close to Christmas. I was abroad for medical treatment, staying in my hotel room, watching other tourists going out hand in hand for a hot drink, while it was beautifully snowing outside. And at a moment when I was sitting in my cold bed and feeling so lost and broken, I asked myself if I will ever be able to laugh again. So I say to myself, you can either hide and be forever alone, or you just go out there and tell people the truth about you and this creepy illness. So first, I overcame my fear of rejection. I went out with pen and paper and initiated an awareness campaign. I blogged about my health journey. I shared my experience. I started to write poems and make people understand me. I asked celebrities to lend me their voices for a YouTube video, to look for international help. My friends filmed it, and those artists spoke for me, and all patients with this rare disease. We almost reached 30,000 people. Even the president of Austria supported my message. It was an act of solidarity and shows that when we have our voices heard, great things can happen. I'm still not fully cured. I depend on expensive therapies every day, and my pain gets back, my voice gets lost. And I still hope for new treatment options. But all I want to say is, it's very unlikely to fall ill with Eagle syndrome, fortunately. So most of you have the physical ability to speak, unlimited. The only thing that is holding you back from speaking your truth is yourself. When was the last time that you said something meaningful to someone? Is there a conflict you want to sort out for so long, but you've always been too afraid? Do you have a wish you'd like to express, but you never dare to? I know that many of us live, grieve, suffer, and even laugh in silence. When my voice was gone, I regretted not having told people often enough how much they really mean to me. I thought it would be forever too late. Being silent can be beneficial for some time, sure. You turn to your inner self, reflect, grow. But if you don't express for yourself for too long, it can be destructive. If we want to experience true intimacy and connection and change, we have to risk opening up. Communication makes us human beings. One of the reasons why introverts, highly sensitive, very intelligent, talented people often remain quiet is because they think that their words don't value. I'm here to tell you, your words matter. Never underestimate the power of your words. Your words can comfort other people. Your words can empower them. Your words can make a difference. To all those beautiful, quiet souls out there, you deserve to be heard, and you will be listened to. You will be understood, and you will be supported by the right people. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Dare to tell your story. Change the world with your voice. And say I love you to the person you're madly in love with. Thank you.